and weighs around 6.4 grams, a size that is convenient for daily use while being large enough to allow for clear and detailed engravings. The 1 dirham coin has seen minor variations in minting over the years, often produced at international mints, including those in Canada and the UK, and while the 2005 version does not feature a mint mark identifying its exact origin, these coins are part of a broader effort to standardize and modernize UAE currency while preserving its cultural roots. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1 dirham coin, including the 2005 issue, is the evolution of its design and the way it has responded to changes in counterfeiting technology, economic demands, and public use patterns. Despite being a small coin, it has been subject to intense scrutiny over the years, including size changes and weight alterations in some issues that have affected its compatibility with vending machines, parking meters, and public transit systems across the Emirates. For collectors, the 2005 1 dirham coin represents a key piece in the story of modern UAE coinage. While it is still relatively common in circulation, examples in uncirculated or mint state condition are of interest to both regional and international numismatists. Coins with sharp strikes, full luster, and minimal contact marks are often certified by grading services like NGC or PCGS and hold special value beyond their face denomination. The coin's significance extends beyond numismatics, as it tells the story of a country that has rapidly transformed from a group of small desert communities into one of the most advanced and globalized nations in the world. The dirham, and especially the 1 dirham coin, has traveled in the pockets of millions of people, both locals and tourists, business owners and laborers, citizens and expatriates, symbolizing daily life, commerce, hospitality, and the UAE's ambitious vision for the future. In this video, we will explore the historical context of the dirham, the details of its production, the cultural symbolism behind the coffee pot design, and the economic and political changes that shaped the UAE in the early 2000s. We will examine the metallurgy, the minting process, the coin's role in commerce, and its place within the broader GCC monetary framework. We will also look at how the dirham reflects broader themes in Emirati society, including its respect for tradition, its embrace of innovation, and its position as a bridge between East and West. The 2005 1 dirham coin is not just metal, it is a mirror of a nation's values, a snapshot of a moment in time, and a key artifact in the ongoing narrative of the Gulf region. So stay with me on LAKEY Coin's world as we uncover the full story behind this humble yet powerful coin, in a journey that reveals the past, present, and future of the United Arab Emirates through the eyes of numismatics. Today we are exploring the fascinating and culturally rich history of the 1 dirham coin from the United Arab Emirates, dated 2005, a coin that may appear modest at first glance, but holds deep historical, economic, and symbolic significance in the landscape of modern Middle Eastern currency. The story of the UAE dirham begins with the very formation of the United Arab Emirates itself, which was established in 1971 as a federation of 7 emirates, including Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Fujairah, Al Quwain, and Ras Al Khaimah. Prior to this unification, the region used a variety of currencies, including the Gulf rupee and the Bahraini dinar, but with the formation of the union came the need for a standardized national currency, and thus the dirham was officially introduced in 1973 under the authority of the newly formed Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates. The dirham was subdivided into 100 fields and became the foundation of the country's modern monetary system, reflecting both its rapid development and deep-rooted heritage. The 1 dirham coin holds a special place in this system, as it represents the most widely circulated and commonly used denomination in the country. By 2005, the UAE was experiencing remarkable economic growth spurred by both its oil wealth and its increasing role as a global business and tourism hub. The issuance of the 2005 1 dirham coin is closely tied to this era of transformation and progress in terms of design. The 2005 1 dirham coin continues the traditional themes that have defined UAE coinage. Since its inception, the obverse features a classic Arabian dollar or coffee pot, a cultural symbol of hospitality and generosity deeply ingrained in Emirati heritage. The dollar is not just a decorative element, it is a daily symbol of welcome and unity, used in both formal ceremonies and casual gatherings in the UAE and across the Arab world. The reverse of the coin features the denomination in both Arabic numerals and Western numerals, along with the country's name inscribed in Arabic script. The calligraphy is stylized and elegant, reflecting the nation's pride in its language and culture. The coin is struck in a copper-nickel alloy, giving it a durable silver-like appearance that resists corrosion, and where it measures approximately 23.8 millimeters in diameter and weighs around 6.4 grams, a size that is convenient for daily use while being large enough to allow for clear and detailed engravings. The 1 dirham coin has seen minor variations in minting over the years, often produced at international mints, including those in Canada and the UK, and while the 2005 version does not feature a mint mark identifying its exact origin, these coins are part of a broader effort to standardize and modernize UAE currency while preserving its cultural roots. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1 dirham coin, including the 2005 issue, is the evolution of its design and the way it has responded to changes in counterfeiting technology. Economics. Get into it. First up, the 1971 Lincoln Memorial Penny, a true hidden gem in the numismatic world. This 1-cent coin, minted in Denver, has gained significant attention among collectors due to its rarity, unique features, and increasing market demand. If you own one or are looking to add a rare penny to your collection, stay tuned as we explore its history, key characteristics, and its current high-value status in today. 1971 Lincoln Memorial Penny is fascinating. This coin was minted in a time when the United States economy was thriving and coin production was at its peak. Designed by Victor David Briner, the Lincoln penny has been in circulation honoring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. The reverse design, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, introduced in 1959 to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design continued until 208, making the 1971 penny one of the early releases of the Memorial series. The mint mark located beneath the date signifies that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the most significant coin-producing facilities in the count of one of the most striking features of the 1971 Lincoln penny is its fine, sharp details and strong, deep reddish-brown luster, especially when preserved in high grades, struck in 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This coin carries a unique appeal, as copper pennies from this era have become increasingly sought after. Over time, many of these coins have worn down or been lost, making well-preserved pieces exceptionally rare. Collectors especially seek very fine or better condition pennies with minimal signs of wear, strong rim definition, and clear design elements. The beautiful red and brown pattern on some of these coins makes them even more desirable, as natural toning increases their aesthetic and collector value when it comes to rarity and demand. The long, detailed professional history of the 1980 Lincoln 1-cent coin, a piece that is far more than just a small copper alloy disc. It is a reflection of American monetary evolution, national symbolism, minting technology, economic adaptation, and cultural identity, and by the end of this 2-hour video you will come to understand why the 1980 Lincoln cent is an important coin to study and collect, and why it remains a valuable educational tool for numismatists, history enthusiasts, and everyday collectors around the world. The story of the 1980 Lincoln cent begins long before 1980 itself, when in 1909 the United States Mint introduced the Lincoln cent to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. The coin was historic because it marked the first time a real historical figure appeared on a regular issue U.S. coin. Prior to that, American coinage relied mostly on allegorical figures like Lady Liberty, but with Lincoln the country shifted toward honoring actual national heroes and setting the tone for the way future coinage would recognize American contributions and values. The obverse of the Lincoln cent in 1980 still proudly displayed the right-facing bust of Abraham Lincoln based on a design by sculptor Victor David Brenner, a design that had remained essentially unchanged since its debut in 1909, and the motto, "In God We Trust," appears along the upper rim. Liberty is placed to the left, and the date 1980 is clearly stamped on the lower right, along with the mint mark, if applicable, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco, or no mint mark for Philadelphia coins. This continuity in design across decades gave the coin a unique sense of familiarity among generations of Americans. The reverse of the 1980 Lincoln cent featured the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to replace the original wheat ears reverse. The Lincoln Memorial reverse was created by Frank Gasparo, and it aligned with the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This design shift in 1959 created the unusual but powerful situation of having both Lincoln's bust and a representation of the Lincoln Memorial on the same coin, which in itself contains a small rendering of the seated Lincoln statue, making the Lincoln cent one of the few coins in the world to feature the same person twice on the same face of a single coin. The composition of the 1980 Lincoln cent was still 95% copper and 5% zinc, a metal mix that had been standard for most of the 20th century. This changed only in 1982, when the U.S. Mint transitioned to a predominantly zinc coin with copper plating in response to the rising cost of copper. This makes the 1980 cent part of the last group of fully copper-based coins, a feature that gives it added weight, durability, and collector interest, especially as later coins differ in tone, sound, and wear patterns due to the change in metallurgy. During 1980, the United States Mint was operating in multiple locations, with Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco all producing cents, but the San Francisco Mint was primarily focused on proof coinage, meaning the majority of regular circulation coins came from Philadelphia, and Denver mintage numbers were strong, with more than 7 billion coins struck across all facilities, meaning that the 1980 cent is not considered rare in circulated condition. But what makes it fascinating are the finer details, the die variations, the doubling errors, the planchet flaws, and the crispness of strike that can elevate a common cent into a collector's prize. In our exploration, we will discuss how minting technology evolved by 1980. The mint was using high-speed coining presses, automated feed systems, and improved quality control protocols, but human error and mechanical wear could still lead to interesting variations, and these varieties are often the subject of serious numismatic study. For example, collectors may search for doubled dies, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, or other minting anomalies, which give otherwise common coins added value and character. Economic conditions in 1980 also play an important role in the context of this coin. The United States was facing high inflation, rising interest rates, and changing political landscapes as the country moved from the Carter administration into the Reagan era, the value of small denominations like the penny was being debated, and the costs associated with minting billions of cents annually were becoming a concern for Treasury officials, but the penny remained essential for pricing psychology, for vending machines, and for everyday transactions. And so the Lincoln cent continued to be produced in staggering numbers. The cent also had cultural meaning in the lives of many Americans. It was a coin associated with childhood memories, coin collecting hobbies, and the idiom, "A penny saved is a penny earned," which was often attributed to Benjamin Franklin. Though not accurately, this small coin found its way into charity jars, parking meters, arcade games, and piggy banks, and served as a gateway for millions of young people to begin their journey into the world of numismatics. For coin collectors, the 1980 Lincoln cent represents a bridge between the old copper-rich coins and the coming changes of the 1980s and 1990s. It is part of the pre-zinc era and therefore offers a richer reddish tone and heavier feel than its later counterparts. It is still widely available in circulated condition, but high-grade and circulated examples, especially with red luster designated as MS65, red or higher by professional grading services, can command respectable premiums. In this video we will explore how coins like the 1980 cent are graded, the distinctions between red, brown, and brown toning, and how environmental factors like heat, moisture, and handling can affect a coin's preservation. We will look into the numismatic market for 1980 cents, including auction results, dealer insights, and demand among set builders who are putting together full-year collections or Lincoln cent albums. We will also trace how the Lincoln cent became a core element of American coinage culture, how it influenced coin designs around the world, and how it remains a benchmark for discussions on currency, utility, cost efficiency, and national iconography. We will interview collectors, we will look at real examples under magnification, we will compare mintage charts, and we will examine era coins, and even attempt to identify a few rare varieties that are known from the 1980 production year. So if you're ready to explore not just the coin itself, but also the systems, the history, the art, and the economics behind the 1980 Lincoln 1 cent coin, you're in the right place. Thank you for joining me once again on LC Coins World. Be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and join me on this numismatic adventure as we give this humble coin the spotlight it deserves and tell the story behind the copper that once jingled in the pockets of millions and still holds the power to educate and inspire collectors today. Thank you for joining me on another exciting journey into the heart of numismatic history, where we bring coins to life by uncovering the stories behind their minting, design, significance, and place in both national and global culture. Today, we will dive deep into the long and detailed professional history of the 1976 Lincoln 1 cent coin, a piece of American currency that holds far more meaning than its face value suggests, a coin that represents not only the legacy of a president but also the turbulent and transformative years of the United States as it marked its bicentennial. The 1976 Lincoln cent is a continuation of one of the most iconic and longest-running coin series in American history. The Lincoln cent series, which began in 1909, has carried with it the portrait of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, whose leadership during the Civil War and his vision for a unified nation made him one of the most revered figures in American history. And by the time 1976 arrived, the Lincoln cent had already become a cornerstone of American coinage, used daily by millions of Americans and collected by generations of numismatists from beginners to experts. Designed originally by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the 1976 Lincoln cent continues to feature the right-facing profile of Abraham Lincoln with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," at the top, Liberty to the left, and the date 1976 to the right. Beneath the date one may also find the mint mark indicating whether the coin was produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco mints, although in that year coins from the San Francisco mint were typically proof issues and not for general circulation, unlike other U.S. coins that were specially designed to commemorate the American bicentennial in 1976, such as the quarter, half dollar, and dollar. The Lincoln cent maintained its traditional design. This decision was likely due to the cent's role as a high-volume everyday coin and the logistical challenge of redesigning such a massively produced denomination. Still, the coin serves as a historical artifact of that pivotal year in American history, reflecting the country's enduring commitment to the values Lincoln stood for even as it celebrated 200 years of independence. The reverse of the coin features the Lincoln Memorial, which had replaced the original Wheaties design in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Designed by Frank Gasparro, the memorial was a fitting symbol for the cent, not only connecting it visually to a real landmark in Washington, D.C., but also literally placing Lincoln twice on the coin, since a tiny representation of the seated Lincoln statue can be seen between the columns of the memorial under magnification. In terms of composition, the 1976 Lincoln cent was struck in a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc, and tin. This composition had been standard since 1962 and gave the coins their classic reddish tone and a heavier feel compared to. In terms of composition, the 1976 Lincoln cent was struck in a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. This composition had been standard since 1962 and gave the coins their classic reddish tone and a heavier feel compared to the later copper-plated zinc cents that would begin production in 1982. This makes the 1976 cent a part of the last decade of traditional bronze coinage, which collectors often seek out for both aesthetic and historical reasons. The economic conditions surrounding the minting of the 1976 cent also play an important part in its history. The mid-1970s in America were marked by inflation, economic uncertainty, and a heightened awareness of the cost of minting coins. The penny remained in use for retail transactions, vending machines, and as a psychological pricing tool, yet debates were already beginning about whether the cost of production was justifiable. As the price of copper rose, the value of the metal content in each coin was getting close to, or even surpassing, the face value, creating concern at the U.S. Treasury. The United States Mint struck billions of 1976 Lincoln cents, with the Philadelphia and Denver mints responsible for the majority of general circulation coins, while the San Francisco Mint produced proof coins. For collectors, the Philadelphia Mint did not use a mint mark, while the Denver Mint coins can be identified by the D beneath the date. In total, over 4.2 billion cents were produced that year, making the coin extremely common in circulated condition. Yet despite the high mintage, there are still interesting aspects for collectors, especially those focusing on die varieties, era coins, and high-grade examples. The world of era coins is particularly fascinating, with 1976 Lincoln cents as die cracks, die clashes, off-center strikes, and double dies can all be found with patience and careful searching. For example, some collectors seek out coins with misaligned dies that cause one side of the coin to appear off-center, or they hunt for subtle variations in the lettering or memorial design that indicate a double die error, and these types of varieties, while rare, add a new dimension to the collecting experience and elevate an otherwise common coin into a treasured find. Grading also plays a vital role in the value and collectability of a 1976 Lincoln cent. Most coins found in circulation will be worn and graded between VF and F on the numismatic grading scale, but coins that have been preserved in and circulated condition and exhibit full red luster can fetch higher prices, particularly when certified by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC on S65, red or higher. 1976. Lincoln cent is not only beautiful to behold, but also carries collector value, due to its relative scarcity in top condition despite the overall high mintage. History behind some of the world's most iconic and collectible coins, and today we're diving deep into one of the most historically significant coins ever minted in modern American history. The 1972 Eisenhower dollar, a coin that not only represents the legacy of a beloved U.S. President and World War II General Dwight D. Eisenhower, but also symbolizes a transitional period in American numismatics as the country shifted from silver coinage to clad compositions. This coin was produced during a time of great political, social, and economic change in the United States, and understanding its origins, mintage, design, varieties, and market value is essential for collectors, historians, and numismatists alike. The Eisenhower dollar was authorized by Congress in 1969, shortly after President Eisenhower's death in 1969, and was first issued by the United States Mint in 1971. The obverse design was created by Chief Engraver Frank Gasparo and features a left-facing portrait of Eisenhower with the inscriptions "Liberty in God We Trust" and the date 1972, while the reverse of the coin showcases a striking image of an eagle landing on the moon, which is based on the Apollo 11 mission insignia and commemorates America's achievement in space exploration. This design was not only patriotic, but symbolic of American strength, progress, and unity. The 1972 Eisenhower dollar was produced in several varieties, which are critical to understanding the full story of this coin and make it a deep well of interest for numismatists across the world. Unlike most dollar coins that came before and after it, the Eisenhower dollar was a full-size large dollar coin with a diameter of 38.1 millimeters and a weight of 22.68 grams. It was struck in both copper nickel clad and 40% silver formats. The standard circulation strikes were made in copper nickel at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while special collector's editions in 40% silver were produced at the San Francisco Mint. The 1972 issue is most famous for its three distinct varieties, known as Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3, each of which displays subtle but important differences in the design of the earth above the eagle. On the reverse, Type 1 features a low-relief earth with indistinct lines and was primarily used in early Philadelphia strikes. Type 2 is the rarest of all and was only found in a small batch of proof-like coins mistakenly struck with the wrong reverse die from the 1971 proof silver dollars, making it one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. Type 3 became the standard reverse used later in the year and is the most common among the three varieties, and each type represents not only a physical variation but a piece of the Eisenhower dollar's production timeline, giving collectors unique insight into the minting process and quality control practices at the time. In total, over 170 million Eisenhower dollars were minted in 1972, including more than 92 million from the Philadelphia Mint and over 68 million from the Denver Mint, while the San Francisco Mint produced nearly 2.2 million silver-clad and circulated coins and over 1.8 million silver-proof coins, making the 1972 issue one of the most widely produced yet richly varied Eisenhower dollars in the series. Collectors seek these coins not only for their monetary value but for their place in American history as the last large circulating dollar coin produced by the United States. mint before the transition to smaller dollar coins beginning with the Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979 and beyond. In addition, the coin's connection to President Eisenhower, its tribute to space exploration, and the artistry of its design have all contributed to its rising popularity in recent years, particularly as younger generations of collectors discover the appeal of coins from the 1970s. The market for Eisenhower dollars has seen steady growth, and the 1972 issue stands out for both its historical significance and its collecting challenges, especially when it comes to finding high-grade examples with minimal wear and full mint luster. Even circulated examples of the rare Type 2 variety can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on condition and certification from professional grading services like PCGS and NGC. While pristine and circulated Type 1 and Type 3 coins also command strong premiums, especially when they exhibit full strike details and little to no contact marks. Investors to have started to take notice of the Eisenhower dollar series, recognizing the coin's historical context, relative scarcity in high grades, and unique appeal as a non-silver coin with a strong collector base. The Eisenhower dollar was also part of numerous official U.S. mint sets, including and circulated and proof sets from the early 1970s, and those coins often exhibit much higher quality than business strikes, making them ideal for collectors who want near-perfect examples of this large and impressive coin. In conclusion, the 1972 Eisenhower dollar is far more than just a piece of pocket change. It is a living monument to a great American leader, a celebration of human achievement in space, and a snapshot of U.S. coinage during a transformative era. And as we continue to explore this coin in today's video, we'll look at real market trends, certified values, notable sales tips for collecting, and much more. So sit back, relax, and join me for an in-depth journey into the full story of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar, only here on LC Coins World, where every coin has a story worth telling and collecting. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and symbolic coins ever released by the United States Mint, the 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower bicentennial dollar. This coin was not just a piece of currency but a celebration of the 200th anniversary of American independence, and it holds a unique place in both the history of American numismatics and the hearts of patriotic collectors across the nation. It was introduced during a time of great national pride and reflection, and became a central part of the United States bicentennial celebration, which lasted for several years leading up to and including the year 1976. The Eisenhower dollar series itself began in 1971 as a tribute to the late President Dwight D. Eisenhower, who had passed away in 1969 and who had served as a five-star general during World War II, as well as the 34th President of the United States. The obverse of the Eisenhower dollar was designed by Frank Gasparo, the chief engraver of the United States Mint, and it features a striking left-facing profile of President Eisenhower, accompanied by the inscriptions "Liberty in God We Trust" and the dual date 1776 to 1976, which distinguishes the bicentennial version from the standard years. This coin's reverse, however, is what truly sets it apart. For the bicentennial commemorative edition, the United States Mint held a national design competition and selected a design by Dennis R. Williams, a young art student whose depiction of the Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon was both patriotic and futuristic, symbolizing the founding of the nation and the technological progress of the Apollo-era space program. This design captured the imagination of a country celebrating its past and looking forward to its future. The coin was minted in both copper-nickel clad for general circulation and a special 40% silver-clad composition for collectors, and was produced at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The Philadelphia and Denver issues bear no mint mark and a D mint mark respectively, while the San Francisco mint produced both uncirculated and proof versions in silver with an S mint mark. The diameter of the coin remains 38.1 millimeters, the same as all Eisenhower dollars, and it weighs approximately 22.68 grams for the clad version and slightly more for the silver variant. Over 200 million bicentennial Eisenhower dollars were produced, making it one of the most widely circulated commemorative coins in U.S. history. Yet despite its high mintage, the coin's unique dual-date limited design and historical importance have ensured its place as one of the most collected modern U.S. coins in the world. Collectors often seek examples with strong strikes, minimal contact marks, and deep luster, especially from the San Francisco mint, which typically produced coins of higher quality due to their intended purpose as collectible rather than circulation strikes. The 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar also comes with a few subtle and strike details of the Liberty Bell and moon on the reverse, which can increase value and desirability among advanced collectors. As with many collectible coins, condition plays a huge role in value. Circulated examples may only be worth face value, but coins in mint state, especially those graded by PCGS or NGC, can range in value from a few dollars to several hundred, depending on their grade and whether they are the silver or clad version. The proof silver coins from the San Francisco mint in particular are sought after for their mirror-like finish and deep cameo contrast, and they remain popular in proof sets and as individual certified coins on the collector's market. The Eisenhower bicentennial dollar also had cultural significance beyond the coin world, as it appeared in many commemorative items, marketing materials, and was often saved by families as a keepsake of America's 200th birthday. It was the first dollar coin in U.S. history to feature a commemorative reverse design that was widely used in circulation, and it helped pave the way for future commemorative coin programs like the State Quarters Presidential Dollars and America the Beautiful series. As we continue exploring this coin in today's video, we will go even deeper into its minting process, distribution, historical impact, collector demand, modern market trends, and notable auction results. You'll learn how to identify high-quality examples, what to look for in terms of strike and detail, how to tell the difference between the clad and silver versions, and which examples have reached record prices at auction. The bicentennial Eisenhower dollar is more than just a coin. It is a tribute to America's founding values, its journey through 2 centuries of progress, and the man who helped lead it through some of its most challenging times. So sit back and enjoy this numismatic journey through time as we uncover the full story behind the 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar, right here on LC Coins World, where every coin tells a story and every story brings history back to life, where we bring to life the stories behind some of the most fascinating coins in numismatic history. And today we take a deep dive into the rich and detailed background of the 1980 to D Washington quarter dollar, a coin that might seem common at first glance but carries a story of economic change, historical legacy, production challenges, and collector interest that makes it far more than just pocket change. This is not only a piece of metal but a symbol of American heritage, minted during a time of transition in the United States economy and coin production landscape. The 1980 to D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint and bears the D Mint mark beneath the portrait of George Washington on the obverse side of the coin. The Washington quarter itself was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington, the first President of the United States, and since then it has remained a constant in American currency, with various design changes over time, but the 1982 version holds particular interest due to the fact that it was produced during a recession period in the early 1980s that significantly impacted the operations of the United States Mint, resulting in one major difference that sets this coin apart from many others in the series, which is that no official uncirculated mint sets were produced by the U.S. Mint in 1980 to making high-quality examples of this coin particularly challenging to find in mint state condition. This lack of mint sets meant that collectors and dealers could not acquire pristine examples directly from the mint as they could in previous years, and as a result the demand for high-grade circulated and mint state quarters from 1982 has remained strong among numismatists, especially those interested in assembling complete runs of modern Washington quarters in uncirculated condition. The 1982 D quarter has a standard clad composition made of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams and has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters with a reeded edge. The obverse features John Flanagan's original 1932 design of George Washington facing left with the word Liberty above the motto in God We Trust to the left, and the date 1982 along with the D mint mark located to the right below Washington's portrait. The reverse design, which remained unchanged until 1999, showcases the iconic image of a heraldic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows and an olive branch in its talons, a design meant to represent strength and peace. This image is framed by the inscriptions United States of America e pluribus unum and $quarter. This particular design by Flanagan endured for decades and became one of the most recognized images in American coinage until it was replaced by the state quarters program at the end of the century. Production totals for the 1982 D quarter reached over 480 million coins, making it a high mintage issue by any standard, but due to the absence of uncirculated mint sets and the economic conditions of the time, many of these coins entered circulation and were heavily used, resulting in fewer surviving examples. In top condition, coins that grade MS65 or higher are relatively scarce compared to other quarters from more recent years, and this has contributed to their desirability on the collector market over the years. Grading services like PCGS and NGC have certified examples of the 1982 D quarter in various grades, and as of today coins in MS65 or higher can command significant premiums, with some examples reaching into the hundreds of dollars if they exhibit full luster, sharp strikes, and clean surfaces free of contact marks. Another point of interest surrounding the 1982 D quarter is the presence of some minor die varieties and errors which have added even more appeal for advanced collectors who study and search for small differences in design elements such as die cracks, doubling, or variations in the mint mark positioning. While these are not extremely common, they add an exciting layer of depth for those who enjoy error collecting or cherry-picking rare varieties from circulated rolls. In terms of historical context, the early 1980s marked a time of inflation, rising interest rates, and shifting policies at the federal level, which in turn influenced decisions at the United States Mint, including cost-cutting measures that led to the halt of mint set production in both 1982 and 1983, as the mint focused on fulfilling the basic need for circulating coinage. This period also saw increasing interest in coin collecting, among the American public, with collectors beginning to pay more attention to modern issues and their condition, rarity, and potential long-term value. The 1980 to D quarter, therefore, sits at the crossroads of historical change, numismatic importance, and collector appeal, and throughout the rest of this video we are going to explore its production history, the minting process during the early 1980s, the impact of missing mint sets on the numismatic market, the differences between circulated and mint state examples, how to properly identify high-grade coins, and what to look for when collecting or investing in this iconic piece. We will also take a closer look at current market values, auction results, and stories from collectors who have found these quarters in pocket change rolls and collections and turned them into prized possessions. So stay with us here on LC Coins World as we unravel every detail behind the 1980 to D Washington quarter dollar, a coin that is more than just a face value piece of American change. It is a reflection of a moment in history, a challenge for collectors, and a timeless tribute to the legacy of George Washington and the enduring tradition of American coinage, where we uncover the fascinating stories behind historic coins. And today we are diving deep into the full professional history of the 1981 Washington quarter dollar. This is a coin that might look like everyday pocket change, but its background touches on American heritage, economic shifts, minting processes, and collector intrigue in a way that makes it far more valuable than its face value suggests. This quarter is part of the long-running Washington quarter series, which began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington and has since become one of the most recognized and widely used coins in American history. The 1981 P quarter was minted in Philadelphia, as noted by the P mint mark, which sits just beside the date on the obverse of the coin, and this specific issue came during a fascinating period for the United States mint and coin production overall, as the early 1980s were marked by economic adjustments, changes in metal values, and growing interest from both casual and serious coin collectors. To fully appreciate the 1981 P quarter, we must first understand its design and how it fits into the broader series. The obverse side of the coin features a portrait of George Washington designed by sculptor John Flanagan, with the inscription "Liberty" across the top in God we trust to the left, and the date 1981 at the bottom, with the P mint mark to the right. This iconic design had been used consistently since 1932 and would continue until 1998. Before the introduction of the 50-state quarters program, the reverse side of the 1981 P quarter features a heraldic eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows and surrounded by olive branches, symbolizing both strength and peace. Above the eagle is the national motto, E pluribus unum, and encircling the upper edge is the inscription, United States of America, with quarter dollar at the bottom. The classic nature of this design is part of what keeps it popular among collectors and history lovers. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 600 million of these coins in 1981, making it a high mintage year, but quantity alone does not diminish its significance or collectability. What makes this coin stand out in numismatic circles is the condition, rarity, and the fact that, just like the quarters of 1982 and 1983, this coin was not included in official uncirculated mint sets. This meant that collectors had a harder time finding pristine examples of the 1981 P quarter directly from the mint. Most of these coins entered circulation and were used heavily over time, making uncirculated or mint state examples far less common than the mintage numbers might suggest. This has resulted in an enduring demand for high-quality 1981 P quarters among those aiming to build complete modern quarter sets in the highest possible grades. As for technical specifications, the 1981p Washington quarter is composed of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. This clad composition was first introduced in the mid-1960s when rising silver prices led the United States Mint to eliminate silver from circulating quarters. The 1981p quarter has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and weighs 567 grams with a reeded edge and a smooth finish. In terms of wear and aging, collectors often look for original mint luster, sharp strikes, and clean fields with minimal contact marks to determine if a 1981p quarter qualifies for higher grading designations, such as MS65 or MS66. In the world of coin grading, services like PCGS and NGC have certified thousands of 1981p quarters over the years, but high mint state examples remain tough to come by, especially those that exhibit full strike details and clean surfaces. This scarcity of top-grade coins combined with the high demand for quality examples makes the 1981p quarter a desirable piece for collectors seeking modern coinage with long-term potential. The absence of mint sets also led to increased interest in searching for rolls and bags of circulated coins in hopes of finding hidden gems, and gems were indeed found among circulated batches, often leading to impressive auction results when those coins were submitted for certification and received top grades. Throughout the 1980s, coin collecting was on the rise, fueled by economic uncertainty and a renewed interest in American history and tangible assets. This era marked a shift in how collectors approached modern coins. No longer were only old or rare coins considered valuable. Instead, people began to focus on condition, rarity, strike quality, and minting anomalies. Even within more recent issues like the 1981p quarter, and with good reason, this quarter sits right at the heart of a period when quality control at the mints was under strain due to budget cuts, increasing demand, and aging equipment. This sometimes resulted in weak strikes, die cracks, or off-center coins, which in turn sparked interest from era collectors and those intrigued by the subtle inconsistencies that can make a coin unique. When we talk about value, the 1981p quarter in circulated condition is usually worth its face value, but in mint state, or with special attributes such as full strike or die varieties, values can climb dramatically. For example, coins graded MS65 or better by PCGS or NGC can fetch premiums, and examples with extraordinary eye preservation methods for maximizing the value of your coins. And hear from collectors who have found 1981p quarters in coin rolls that turned out to be exceptional examples of this classic issue. So whether you are a seasoned collector, a new enthusiast, or just someone who enjoys history told through coins, stay tuned here at LC Coins World, because the story of the 1981p quarter dollar is far from over, and it promises to surprise and inspire with every new discovery.